About 7 years ago, I reviewed my first Glycine Combat Sub. That was way before Invicta purchased them, and back then I thought they had a crazy amount of variations and color combos. But it's gotten even crazier, and now today they have 4 different sizes available: 36, 39, 42, and even 48. And no, I didn't forget the Glycine Sub Aquarius. That one was 46 millimeters, but it really wasn't the same watch as these here. This one is the 42 millimeter, and it has a gilt bezel insert and dial. And beyond the colors, there are a few other changes since I last reviewed one. Now, I purchased this watch from ashford.com. I'll talk more about that experience towards the end of the video, but I paid $379. Retail price on these varies depending on the model, but anywhere from $1,000 to $1,300, but no one pays that. Just a few years ago, you could snag one for right at $300, but it seems those days are now long gone. Still, this may be one of the best Swiss-made watches available for under $400, and it has a lot to offer. On screen, you'll see all the specs, and one thing you'll notice if you are familiar with the past models is this one now does have an SW200 and not an ETA 2824. Now, when it comes to all the variations and colors, they are just way too many to list. I'll leave a link to Ashford, Glycine, and the Gnomon. I think I'm saying that right. I really can't remember right now. The Gnomon, Gnomon website down below, and you could find all that is available. That said, this was not my first choice for this model, and by the time you are watching this, I may have sold this piece after having it for a few months. Now, I'll touch on some of the reasons throughout this review, but let's talk about Invicta first. To this day, I still see posts about how people will never buy a Glycine again because Invicta owns them. And you know what? Invicta purchased them back in 2016, 2017. Now, of course, I've never been to the Glycine factory, and I cannot say for sure how much or how little Invicta has to do with the day-to-day operations and designs and such. But look, they're releasing 36 and 39 millimeter watches, which is not something Invicta regularly does, and they're coming out with really fantastic versions of this iconic model, so I don't think anyone needs to worry. But some are still put off by Invicta owning this brand, and I get it. Invicta to this day is still a polarizing brand. But this Glycine Combat Sub feels improved in a lot of ways compared to the last one I reviewed, and for the most part, I find this version very attractive. See, I'm not in love with the gilt dial and bezel. It's just not exactly what I wear. I like to stick to steel or silver tone, if you will. But I like this newer version and wanted one that can go with anything. And yes, obviously, it does have kind of a Tudor Black Bay vibe. But you see, the Combat Sub has come with a few different hand styles over the years. Baton style hands, Mercedes hands like the ones shown here. Some of the newer versions, like this one, are fully satin brushed, which is what I prefer. Unfortunately, at this point in time, I could not find a fully brushed one with the silver and black combo. There is another version available. It doesn't have the gold, but it has texture dials, an offset date, and patina loom. I'll throw it up here on screen so you can see it, and it's not a bad looking version at all, but it's just not what I was looking for, so I went with this gilt dial version. But the gilt is not why I am considering moving it on or may have already sold this piece. Actually, I've kind of grown to like the gold accents, and yeah, this color combo works with pretty much anything you're going to wear. The bezel action is great, the coin edge is easy to grip, and it has a wonderful feel to it. Same with the crown, no issues at all. This is everything you expect from a good Swiss watch, and this Glycine delivers. But the sapphire crystal, which has an internal AR coating, well, it seems to not be so clear. It's a clear AR, and I just wish that I was looking at the dial, not at the dial through the crystal, if you know what I mean. It just seems like it could use another layer of AR coating. The brushing on the case side is pretty good. It's not the greatest I've seen, but look at the price point we're talking about here. But it's also better than a lot of micro brands that you would buy for this price. And for me, being brushed is a big bonus. Same with the satin brush case back. Yes, it can still scratch, but unlike the polished version, it won't look like hell in a year. But I've had two other issues with the sub, and the first is the strap. Now, let me clarify, this strap is fantastic in both look and finish, and is miles better than the old BC rubber straps that these used to come on. Those were thick and rigid and took a while to really break in. This one, on the other hand, has a great looking design, and it is extremely pliable and comfortable right from day one. My issue is I just can't get a good fit. One of the reasons I wanted this watch in the first place was because of how thin it is, and I wanted something that fit well and was low profile. But I find myself constantly moving this watch up on my wrist as it's too loose, but if I put it up in the next hole, it's too tight. As such, the crown is always digging into the back of my hand, something that ironically probably wouldn't happen if the case was thicker. Now, my wrist is 7.5 inches, and we all have different shaped wrists, and a watch that fits me perfectly may not be the same for you, and vice versa. I could put a hole in between the two holes and would most likely rectify this issue, but I'm just not about to mar up this beautiful strap. I've debated about getting an Erica's original strap for it, and I still may. Now, the other issue is the lume. It's okay. It's C1 Superluminova, and I would probably give it maybe a B, B minus maybe, but I was hoping it would be better. As you can see, the indices fade a lot quicker than the hands do. It will do the job, but the newer vintage lume models with the texture dials I was talking about before seem to have better lume from some of the reviews I have seen on those. Now, I mean, all things considered, this is a fantastic watch any way you slice it. Of course, you can get it on a bracelet as well, and I could order a bracelet if I wanted to, but I just don't care for these pieces on a bracelet, and the goal here was I wanted something more lightweight and easily wearable, and a heavy steel bracelet would defeat my purpose. But for under $400, there is no way you cannot consider this a steal. These are still of, if not one of the best values out there in the watch marketplace, and there are so many different versions, something to appeal to everybody. The new 39mm models with no crown guards look fantastic as well, especially for me, the olive green dial. So, I'm not sure what we'll end up with this one. I'm not someone who keeps watches around if I'm not wearing them or I just don't enjoy them. So I may try an Erica strap, or I may have already or will soon be selling it. And if I do, maybe I'll try another version down the road. Oh, and one more thing, Ashford.com, that was an annoying experience. The price was $379 when I first saw it. A day later, their sale was over, and I was told to wait till the following weekend and that they could not honor it till then or give me a code. Turns out they have a couple of eBay accounts, and though not under their name, that's who it comes from, so I ordered it from eBay for the same price. The price on the website fluctuates rapidly. When I was doing this video, it was over $600. Now, the next day, it could have been $379 again. So, as always, do your research and find the best price available. Now, I want to hear from you, though. Let me know what you think of this Glycine Combat Sub 42mm down in the comment section below. If you have one, let me know what you think of it. I know many that have a lot of this watch, or have had many over the years, or have a couple right now. Or if you are interested in one, if you have any questions, let me know. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of all our videos. It is much appreciated. This is Don Evans from Watch Report. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.